Okay, let's rapidly react to Oklahoma's destruction of the Missouri State Bears, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. So it's college football related, sports related. We have a good time today. Want to recap for you in brief Oklahoma's absolute destruction of the Missouri State Bears. Like, this was not close. And you know what? There was a little bit of trepidation on my part as there were like 19 dudes that just didn't turn out for warm-ups for one reason or another. Injuries, suspensions, and COVID. Like, Gabe Burkich actually tweeted at 6:24 local time to say, yo, I woke up late, the alarm didn't go off, I'll be back. So he wasn't kicking extra points or field goals. Didn't matter. Oklahoma was up 41-0 by the end of the first half, up by 30 by the end of the first quarter. The Rattler was venomous. We're talking about 14-17 for 290 yards, 4 tutties in one half football. That's slippery, man. That's slithery, bringing out the fangs. The Rattler, and then we got Marvin Mims showing out. Look, we had 2 50-yard bombs from Lincoln Riley play calls, and Spencer Rattler's just deft touch. Just flick the wrist, drop a bomb into the supple carnival toy plush hands of Marvin Mims, the true freshman returning punts as well. Look, they could be really good, and I understand. There are folks that are be like, yo, Missouri State, because they didn't buy the pay-per-view $55 like the rest of us, myself included. I get that. I also get that Oklahoma State beat Missouri State 58-17 a couple years back with the corn dog, but people want to act like the corn dog and Oklahoma State did not give Oklahoma everything that they wanted in 2018. That was a failed 2-point conversion from them getting the win in a year in which Oklahoma made the college football playoff. And seeing as the Big 12 teams that were playing in the 11 o'clock window absolutely embarrassed us, embarrassed the people. Iowa State losing to Louisiana, Kansas State losing to Arkansas State. I guess we're living in a world where we got to depend on West Virginia to carry the Big 12 banner against Eastern Kentucky. All right, fine. But then we got to see Marcus Major, and we got to see Seth McGowan. And while I expected Marcus Major to get the bulk of the carries, it was Seth McGowan who was showing out. As a matter of fact, between him and Brian Asamoah, those were the two surprise players that I watched that I was so really excited about. Seth McGowan catching balls out of the backfield, breaking tackles, getting into the end zone. Then Brian Asamoah closing like Blake in a Glenn Ross sales call. Like, dude absolutely had it. And then I'm looking at Rattler, who was 7-7 to start the game, completed 7 passes to 7 different receivers. Theo Howard getting into it along with Mims, who I mentioned. Charleston Rambo having a great day. And what do we take from this except glorified scrimmage? Sure. We also got to see Tanner Mordecai start the second half. And Lincoln Riley lied to us once again when he said it would have been a close quarterback competition if Mordecai would have got some more reps, but he had to miss some of preseason camp, like all but like up to 30% of preseason camp due to one reason or another. We think it's the COVID. But then the first, punt that happened for Oklahoma was a Tanner Mordecai series. It's not going to be great for his future grad transfer stock. If you did not buy the pay-per-view, you will not fully appreciate just how good Spencer Rattler looks back there spinning the football. He had a signature opening series for his career as a starting quarterback where he scrambled and looked good, where he would flick the ball across field and look good, where he would drive the ball down the field. He was patient in the pocket. Even knowing that he did not have his full assortment of toys, I mean, we saw 2 tight end sets out there with H-back split out wide like Austin Stogner and Jeremiah Hall and Mikey Henderson getting into this thing without a Ramondre Stevenson, without a TJ Pledger, without Trajan Bridges. And then defensively, we're talking about through the middle of the third quarter, Missouri State had run 30 plays and picked up 40 yards. I mean, Max Duggan did that last year by his damn self and really on one play going like 60 yards. Again, FCS Missouri State. It's not just an FCS team, it's a bad FCS team. They were 1-10. Their first year head coach is Bobby Petrino. And we still got this video game NCAA rookie mode score. I don't really want to take it as an opportunity to dunk on Missouri State any harder than anybody's going to dunk on Missouri State because that's not what it's about. For us to see college football played, I would remind folks that's what happened, right? I had Ohio State fans get at me on Twitter talking about, Who are they playing? No one. I'm like, first of all, who's Ohio State playing at all? Like, if he didn't come at me, I wouldn't come at him like that. Because, like, yeah, they're playing nobody like Ohio State's playing nobody. Ohio State's playing with itself, okay? That's where Ohio State is right now. If you got to watch football this weekend, you understand what it was. I mean, we've even lost Houston versus Memphis next week. That's now Baylor versus Houston in the 11 o'clock window on Fox. We've lost Oklahoma State and Tulsa this week. We're probably going to lose. Oh, we already lost Virginia Tech this week. That's going to be Duke and Virginia Tech next week. If you're getting to play college football under these circumstances, everything is a blessing right now, is the way you have to treat it. And as we continue to just try to stack games together and we're looking at how games are going, I'm also looking at some of these games the folks just aren't ready to play. Florida State lost to Georgia Tech today, 16-13. Let me tell you how bad Georgia Tech was last year. Forget the Clemson game. Georgia Tech lost to Temple. 24-2 last year. They beat Florida State. They had fired Willie Taggart to bring in Mike Norvell, and how did he respond in his first game? Losing to a Georgia Tech team that, did a great thing, not looking ahead to UCF, Central Florida. But to finish out, right, the subject of this segment was OU football. They played like a number 5 team in the country, which I think is the point. Because when you look at that top 10, you look at those top 5, you see Clemson absolutely putting the screws to Wake Forest. Like, at one point, I looked down and I did the math. Clemson had outscored Wake Forest over the last 2 years, 139-6. It's just not going to be their year, especially when they lost Brand Cam Newton to Georgia, who ended up opting out anyway. And until the SEC kicks off in just a couple of weeks, we don't really have a great measuring stick for the Big 12 or the ACC. What we have right now is the Sun Belt saying we came to play, and we came to hand y'all's heads, man. Like, Texas State and UTSA was absolutely outstanding. The Belt having a day, and everybody needs a great kicker is what I learned, man. Like, we had special teams gaffes, we had fake punt returns, we had fake punts, we had blocked punts, we had kickers that can't make extra points. It's been rough, but that's what makes college football so much fun. It's bizarre, and when it's done really, really well, like Spencer Rattler does it, you appreciate what you're seeing, and you take it all in. I also want to highlight just how good Grinch's kids were at running to the football. Again, Missouri State, but you can't teach them to want to chase everybody down. You can't teach them to play with maximum effort, right? We saw Brian Asamoah. We also saw Deshaun White. We saw Brian Asamoah basically take over that Kenneth Murray will spot of just shoot and destroy, right? And that was great. Patrick Fields coming downhill to make plays in the backfield. At one point I looked down and Oklahoma had 8 tackles for loss, right? They were making Jaden Johnson uncomfortable, who's operating back there like he thinks he's Lamar Jackson, but he's also fumbling while running away. This is the first game. Oklahoma's 1-0. We'll see how the rest of it goes. I had a good time. I hope you did too. Catch me on ESPN Radio following the Lakers and Rockets. Going to be on with Jeff Dickerson. We're going to talk about the Lakers and Rockets. Going to talk about these top 5 teams. Going to talk a little NFL. He covers the Bears for the NFL. You know about me in college football. That means it's going to be an amazing show. Deuces.